Yoruba, I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world at large.
Hello, Gilin Topa. My name is Gregfina Nkorishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Topo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like when we're no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is here every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Good morning, fellow Liberians. It's always a pleasure to be here to bring you developments regarding the varieties of newspapers we have in studio. So this is the program Inside the Print Media, and this is an informative program where we highlight all of the trending stories from the print media and to inform the public about every other thing that is happening in our country. So there are lots of interesting stories here, as you may be aware. And yesterday, the highest court in the Republic of Liberia heard a verdict in the landmark legal trial involving the former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scout and three of her family members. So the Supreme Court headed down an acquittal verdict, which means former Chief Justice Gloria Musu-Scout was set free on yesterday. So for those of you who are watching this live video this morning, I want to say good morning. Those of you who are listening by the medium of the radio, I want to say good morning to you. And this is the program Inside the Print Media, where we highlight all of the trending stories from the newspaper. So we have varieties of newspapers this morning in our possession. We have the Front Page Africa newspaper. We have the Daily Observer newspaper. We have the Hot Pepper newspaper. Lastly, we have the New Dawn newspaper. Let's take a short break. We will be right back. All right, welcome back, folks. Let's run strictly over to the Front Page Africa newspaper this morning. Justice Gloria Musu decries unfairness in Liberia judicial system upon release from prison. Rallies CSO lawyers to fight. Justice Gloria Musu decries unfairness in Liberia judicial systems upon release from prison. Rally CSOs lawyers to fight. Let's give you the content of this story. Former Chief Justice Gloria Musu shortly after her release from prison has called for a concerted effort to combat injustice in Liberia. Justice Cloud and three family relatives have spent over a year at the Monrovia Central Prison following accusation of murdering Charlotte Musu, her 29-year-old adopted niece. Addressing the media at her single home, Justice Cloud expressed gratitude to the lawyers who provided pro bono services and urged the civil society organization to intensify their advocacies and offer legal aid to the many innocent individuals still in prison. She stated, I want to thank the lawyers and the civil society organization for their support. However, there is still a great deal of injustice in this country. If they could do this to me, what about the young people from Bokonjili? What about someone in Sino, Kaloken, or Lofa? I celebrate today and my family celebrate, but the work is far from over. Many innocent people remain in jail. Justice Carl 70, one of the high-profile politicians and lawyer, along with relatives, Man Rebecca Yodet, witness 80, Getchu Neaton 36, and Alice Johnson 20 was sentenced to life imprisonment by Criminal Court A Judge Roosevelt Willie in January 2020 following the jury's guilty verdict. I want to thank the lawyers and the civil society organization for their support. However, there is still a great deal of injustice in this country. If they could do this to me, what about the young men from Bokonjili? What about someone in Sino, Kaloken, or Lofa? I celebrate today and my family celebrate, but the work is far from over. Many innocent people remain in jail. Prosecution had accused the quartet of murdering Musu with kitchen knife. Musu has suffered wounds of her chest, right hand, and left thigh, and left armpit after being stabbed with a sharp instrument believed to be a knife, the indictment alleged. The former Chief Justice denied the charge, saying the 29-year-old had been killed by an assassin who had entered her home. No sufficient evidence in the verdict delivered by Chief Justice Yanin Yo, the Supreme Court found the jury's decision was based on circumstantial evidence which lacked direct support and failed to identify the specific individual responsible for the murder. The Supreme Court verdict read, "Therefore, and in view of the foregoing, the final ruling of the trial court confirming the verdict of the jury is hereby reversed. The appellants Gloria Musu Scout, Mount Rebecca Yude, Whistler Getchu Needham, and Alice Johnson, the other immediately released from further detention at the Monrovia Central Prison and civil rights, liberties, and all other constitutional and statutory rights are hereby immediately restored, and it is hereby so ordered." Legal analysts have speculated that the Supreme Court might overturn the lower court's decision during the Supreme Court hearing on July 16, 2024. State prosecutors acknowledged the conviction was based on circumstantial evidence. During the argument, Councillor Bobby Livingston, the lead government lawyer, argued that the case relied on circumstantial evidence since the defendant did not identify the perpetrator. Circumstantial evidence, while suggestive, does not directly prove a fact but allows for logical inference. Former Associate Justice Kabinan Janet, the lead defense lawyer, countered by challenging whether the state have met the standard of proof beyond a reasonable doubt and whether a prima facie case has been established against the defendant. The Supreme Court agreed that the defense argument stating that the circumstantial evidence provided by the state failed to connect to the crime to a specific individual among the four accused. In addition, the Supreme Court criticized the state's failure to produce the weapon used in the murder and highlighted the inconsistencies in the evidence, including conflicting testimony about the DNA found on the deceased. The court also considered the possibility that a professional criminal could have entered the home given previous reports of attempted intrusion. Government lawyers find. In a separate matter, state lawyers failed to appear before the Supreme Court, resulting in fines from Solicitor General Augustine Fire 100 and Minister of Justice 200. Councillor Fire later disclosed a conflict of interest as he had previously served as defense lawyer for Councillor Scott before his appointment as Solicitor General. Verdict garners mixed reaction. Following the High Court ruling, jubilation ensued in the grounds of the Supreme Court of Liberia and the premises of the Monrovia Central Prison. The celebration was preceded by a triumphant procession from the Central Prison to Chief Justice Scott's home in Single. There she thanked the family, CSO, and all 34 lawyers who represented her. While many welcomed the ruling, others expressed misgiving. The death of the late Charlotte Musu in the CDC and UP political arena, an endless battlefield, is a heartbreaking tragedy that highlights the unfortunate reality that in Liberia, politics often triumph over fairness and justice. While the parents give in sorrow, politicians continue to argue and point fingers. Liberia is plagued by a lack of compassion and twisted sense of justice. May God bring peace to the mourning family. Without true justice, there will be no peace in Liberia, wrote John Molu, former Auditor General of Liberia. Wherefore, and in view of the foregoing, okay, we read that part. So, Jupale Jackson wrote on Facebook, Gloria Mususka most likely did not kill that child, but it is hard to say or argue that there is some degrees of complicity as her part, whether by she's silence or deliberate attempt to shield the perpetrator. She had a role to play. However, I detest the fact that this issue became a political football, that the sentencing was kindly murky, but there is no way she will ever know peace. Mr. Scott will, however, remain imprisoned in her heart and for the rest of their existence. Mrs. Scott just left prison but can never be a free woman. George F. Bundle added, justice would never favor the poor, and some of us believe that she was going to be set free as long as the Unity Party government has taken over. The poor girl spirit has to revenge on her behalf, not Liberia justice system. So let's go over to another development within the Front Page Africa newspaper this morning. Central Bank of Liberia, Bank of Ghana clarify currency transfer arrangement between the two countries. Central Bank of Liberia, Bank of Ghana clarified currency transfer arrangement between the two countries. The Central Bank of Liberia and the Bank of Ghana have clarified reports surrounding the 20 million cash importation between the two countries, a commitment to upholding transparency and accountability in safeguarding the importation of cash to prevent money laundering. Early this week, there were reports circulating in the media that the consigned importation of 20 million from the Bank of Ghana to the Central Bank of Liberia was illegal and amounts to money laundering involving unknown authorities of both the Liberian and the Ghanaian government. But in a separate statement issued by the CBL and BOC, the Liberian and the Ghanaian government pointed that the transaction is a long-standing cash custody agreement subsisting between the two countries. According to the CBL, the 20 million cash importation consigned to the Bank of Ghana destined for Liberia is a legitimate transaction. Rather, the importations of United States dollar is part of the bank's normal function, which is required to meet the needs of the economy, including the USD withdrawal demands and the needs of the government of Liberia and the commercial banks, the CBL said. CBL and the Bank of Ghana have long-standing cash custody agreement executed for the Bank of Ghana to provide overnight custody for CBL imported cash when shipped from London by Terrafex Currency, which is an international currency shipment company. The CBL maintained that these cash shipments by flights are cleared through both the Ghana and Liberia customs, those validating their legitimate sources. The CBL used the medium to emphasize its commitment to transparency and accountability and encourages the media to always reach out to the bank to verify any information about the bank's operation before publication. In the statement issued on Wednesday, the Bank of Ghana clarified that the transaction is a long-standing currency transfer agreement with the Central Bank of Liberia dating back as far as 2004. The Bank of Ghana said, as per the agreement, the Bank of Ghana received imported currencies on behalf of the Central Bank of Liberia for re-export to Monrovia. The clarification made by the Central Bank of Ghana comes in response to concern raised by the Ghanaian parliamentarian Samuel Koduze Balawa, who represents the North Tongu constituency and serves the committee chairman on assurances. Abaka has expressed serious concerns regarding the alleged movement of 20 million that was reportedly exported from London to Ghana via Kotoka International Airport. The Ghanaian parliamentarian revelation lifted by several news outlets in Ghana and Liberia has since sparked huge debate and some questioning the motive behind such huge transfer of cash. However, in the release, the Bank of Ghana said an uncirculated banknote mentions in the social media discussion on August 27 are part of the long-standing agreement, and all logistical arrangements, including scheduled flights, are finalized. This could be re-exported to the Central Bank of Liberia. It added, as part of administrative processes and security protocol, all relevant stakeholders are officially informed of the entry and exit of consignment related to the arrangement, noting that unless there is a mischief intended, there was no reason for the matter to have come in the issues of public discussion. The Bank of Ghana said currency management is a sensitive operation and has security implications. Therefore, it is unfortunate that a lawmaker could circulate such sensitive procedural and administrative clearance letter involving another sovereign nation in a bid to disinform the public and attach a narrative that seeks to suggest some wrongdoings on the part of the Bank of Ghana. The arrangement between the Bank of Ghana and the Central Bank of Liberia signifies mutual trust between the two countries and a testament to a strong bond of friendship between Accra and Monrovia. The Bank of Ghana further noted it has one of the most sophisticated state-of-the-art currency management operation within the sub-region and will continue to provide such support to its peer countries for international best practicing. The Bank of Ghana will continue to uphold its reputation as a reliable, trustworthy institution in all of its international and domestic engagement in currency management, it concluded. With this being said, this is how we move over to the Daily Observer newspaper. What is the Daily Observer reporting this morning? Gafwan returns as Liberia finance minister. Gafwan returns as Liberia's finance minister. President Joseph Boakai has elected Augustine Kwe Gafwan as Liberia's new finance minister, a seasoned public servant who returns to the cabinet with a wealth of experience. Gafwan previously served as Liberia Ministers of Finance and Ministers of Foreign Affairs during President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf administration, playing a pivotal role in shaping Liberia's financial policy. He succeeded veteran IMF financial expert Anthony Saye for former post and was later replaced development expert Toga Gewie McIntosh for the later post. He briefly nursed a presidential ambition in 2017 as he resigned from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs to contest the presidential election, but later backed down and supported the current President Boakai and his Unity Party. He was appointed country manager for the African Development Bank in Uganda, a role he has held since February 2021. Gafwan's nomination as finance minister is expected to bring continuity in the expertise to President Boakai's administration as Liberia faces ongoing economic challenges. The Liberian Senate is expected to confirm Gafwan's appointment soon, making his official return to government service. With this being said, this is how we move over to another headlines on the Daily Observer newspaper. Liberia takes major step towards aviation security. Liberia takes major step towards aviation security. The Liberia Civil Aviation Authority successfully hosted an inaugural meeting of the National Civil Aviation Security Meeting at its headquarters in Habel Magibi County. The NSA was established by President Joseph Joman Boakai to meet the requirements set by the International Civil Aviation Organization following Liberia's low performance in the 2021 AFCO audit due to the absence of such a committee. The NAS is tasked with coordinating and overseeing all matters related to civil aviation security in Liberia. The meeting was held on Thursday, August 22, 2024, and gathered representatives from key government agencies, including the Ministry of Defense, the Ministry of Justice, National Security Agency, Liberia Revenue Authority, Airport Authority, Ministry of Posts and Telecommunication, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Ministry of Transport, and Liberia National Police. These stakeholders focus on enhancing Liberia civil aviation security infrastructure to ensure the safety and protection of passenger aircraft and airports. During the meeting, LCAA outlined its vision for the NASCO, highlighting its role in developing and implementing comprehensive civil aviation security plan. Discussion also centered on potential collaboration opportunities and key priorities for the month ahead. Julius Denny, Director General of the LCAA, welcomed the participant and stated that the meeting marks significant milestones in the LCAA request to address and mitigate some of the discrepancy flagged by the recent International Civil Aviation Organization Universal Security Audit Program for Liberia Aviation Security Sector. So with this being said, this is how we will entertain a short break, and when we come back, we fill you in with development regarding the New Dawn newspaper and the Hot Pepper newspaper.
Hello dear, my name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where I can get credible information of our daily happenings in Liberia and the world life.
Hello, K. Lyndon Toba. My name is Gwefina Nkorishpa. Haven't you heard about Focal Online TV?
You say Focal Online TV?
Focal Online TV is located within a Tobo village community along the Japanese highway.
Tell me more about the platform.
This platform, called Focal Online TV Daily Edition of Inside the Print Media, does not encourage any form of dialogue between the viewers and the presenters.
Oh, you mean nobody calling there?
No, you can't call on a show. Let me talking out like with no calling there. So all you can do is you will listen to the news, and they can also encourage you to buy the newspaper to listen to the news in details.
But do you do viewer recognition at times?
Oh yes, we do viewer recognition. When you are watching, we notify you, and sometimes we even appreciate you on a show, telling you thank you for always following us. We also encourage you to share the live stream, because the more you share the live stream, we transform and we transition ourselves as a broadcast team as well.
Wow. So when can I better get this program you are talking about?
This program is aired every Monday to Friday at 10 a.m. to 10:45. The program runs for 45 minutes.
Wow.
And guess what?
Wow.
We bring you hot stories of our trending situation within our country, Liberia. Imagine hearing stories from Hot Pepper newspaper, from the Daily Observer newspaper, from Front Page Africa. Are you a lover of Front Page Africa?
Oh yes, I'm a lover of
Front Page Africa, and the Women Voices, and a lot more. Not forgetting international news, BBC,
wow.
CNN, ABC News. We bring you headlines from those standpoints.
Wow, that is very, very, very amazing.
So we say, join us every day on the daily edition of Inside the Print Media at 10 a.m. with the headlines of top stories in our country and the world at large on Focal Online TV.
Welcome back, folks. It's always a pleasure to be here to inform you about all of the trending development taking place in our mother country, Liberia. So let's go over to the Hot Pepper newspaper this morning. LDEA arrests over 1,000 worth of drug in St. Paul. LDEA arrests over 1,000 worth of drug in single. On August 21, 2024, the Liberia Drug Enforcement Agency arrested suspect Abu Keita, 36-year-old Ivorian and resident of 18th Street, Single, for the possession, sale, and distribution of a powder-like substance believed to be heroin, cocaine, and methamphetamine, also known as Kuch. Upon the investigation and testing of the seized substances conducted on August 2022-2024, the substance showed positive for heroin and methamphetamine, also known as Kuch. The Kuch substance seized weighed 1.8 kilograms with a street value of 36,000 or 6,840 6,840,000 and heroin 1.8K street value of 81,000 United States dollars. The total of kush and heroin seized weighed 3.6 kilograms with total street value of 117,000 or 22,230,000. Suspect Abu Keita has been investigated and charged for possession, sale, and distribution of narcotic substances in violation of Section 14.81 and Section 14.85 of the 2023 drug law as amended, as well as Section 10.4 and 10.2 of the Penal Law of Liberia. So Keita is being forwarded to court for further prosecution. So, okay, folks, we want to sincerely apologize that we will not be able to bring the New Dawn newspaper because of time and some other technical issue. So, my name is K. Lyndon Toba, and I presented on this morning relative to the program inside the print media. So many thanks to all of you who have been following this live conversation. But before then, let's begin to acknowledge some of our followers who have been following by the medium of live television. Emmanuel B. Zol say, good morning, I'm following. And we have Mamiama Lasbon Signed. I do join the conversation from Battery Factory. And the long list of you who are also following, we want to say thank you for always following. It is always important to be informed about what is taking place in our country, Liberia. So with this being said, this is how we call it a day on today's transmission.
Hello, dear. My name is K. Lyndon Toba. I'm in search of a platform where